Jay-Z in trouble as Diddy turns him in during confession. Jay-Z.
You want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through.
What are your thoughts after hearing the indictment yesterday?
Good morning, Brian and Natalie. I got to tell you, my thoughts reading the 14-page indictment yesterday were that there are a lot of people in Hollywood who are probably worried about which Diddy parties they were at. And
you won't believe what just went down inside that courtroom. It was the kind of moment that stops everything cold in a shocking twist no one saw coming. Jay-Z, yes, the same Jay-Z who once called Diddy a mentor and role model, completely flipped the script. Right there in the courtroom, in front of everyone, he started speaking, and what he said left the room frozen. Jay didn't hold back. He began exposing secrets that people in the industry have only dared to whisper about, the kind of behind-the-scenes truths that could shake the foundation of music royalty. The streets are already buzzing with claims that Diddy was seated just feet away as Jay-Z laid it all out, piece by piece. And here's what is everyone talking, Diddy's reaction. The moment Jay-Z opened his mouth, eyewitnesses say Diddy's face went pale, like the air had been sucked out of the room. It was the kind of raw, unfiltered drama that turns legends into headlines and allies into enemies. Now, fans and insiders alike are left wondering, what kind of dirt does Jay really have and what pushed him to finally speak?
It's kind of funny to me, man, is that Diddy used to hate Jay-Z. He hated Jay-Z enough when he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay-Z. This is back in the early 2000s. And one day, Asner, Kushner, Diddy, and myself went to a Nets game and we met Jay-Z. I've never been a Jay-Z fan, like some of his music, the whole 9 yards. But when we went over to the, I think that was Prudential Center in Newark, and him and Puff met up, it was strange to me. Because I remember what Puff was trying to do. And then both of them, they was talking about something amongst each other, amongst all of us, and laughing and joking with each other. Then over the years, I see them giving garden parties. You understand what I'm saying? You could tell that the people in power had gave that reign to Diddy, and Jay was next in line. So to separate him, when in fact they may be two of the same, but because Jay-Z is low-key, that low-key sneaky shit, and Diddy is, and was, rambunctious, just out with it. It don't mean that they're not two of the same. One just a little quiet with his shit.
What happened at the basketball game? When they ran into, you guys ran into Jay-Z?
They were just talking. They was talking amongst each other about their little white girls, their little skinny white girls.
And I mean, did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah, he was. They worked it out.
Was there a reason behind it?
I couldn't tell you the reason behind it. It's probably because Big had died. I don't know what it was, man. I don't know why he wanted Ja Rule to go at Jay. I guess if he kept them beefing or kept them into some bullshit, he could rise up in between both of them. You know what I mean?
From protege to power player, Jay-Z just flipped the whole script, and now the empire is shaking. There was a time when Diddy ruled the hip-hop world like a king, and Jay-Z was just a hungry young rapper trying to break through. Back then, Jay was chasing his shot, hustling mixtapes, learning the ropes, and it was Diddy who showed him the way. He took young Jay under his wing, probably thinking he was grooming the next generation of stars. But what he didn't realize was, he wasn't raising a student. He was raising a lion. Fast forward to now, and the tables have completely turned. Jay-Z isn't just a rapper anymore. He's a billionaire mogul, a global brand, a man who went from street corners to owning stadiums. And when he walked into that courtroom recently, the energy in the room shifted like someone had just kicked off the final round of a high-stakes chess match. The apprentice had become the master, and Diddy felt it. Word on the street is Jay-Z has been sitting on explosive secrets for years, industry-level truths that could shake everything we thought we knew. So why speak now? Some say it's business, that Diddy crossed a line even Jay couldn't ignore. Others whisper it's personal, a betrayal so deep it turned close friends into quiet enemies. Whatever the reason, one thing is crystal clear: Jay-Z has made his move. And the fallout? It's only just beginning.
Or asking, is Jay-Z next? Again, Sister Jaguar Wright been talking about this. Jaguar Wright says Diddy better start snitching. Jay-Z is next. Calls out celebs who supported Diddy. We're back on the Real Life Productions channel, which I'll leave in the description for you guys to check out more and even subscribe, man. Hey. I think it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot to take Jay-Z down. Just because I think he's really in deep with the people above him. So I think like they really going to try to protect them as much as they can. But boy, this brother is connected to a lot. A lot. So we ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
So what are your thoughts on all the his celebrity friends that denounced those allegations and were like, this is false, and you know,
Liars.
Yeah, should they speak up now? Should they speak up now?
I think it's getting a little too late for those who are complicit. For the victims who have been too afraid to come forward because the diddler has been running around with impunity.
The diddler.
It's time for all of the victims to come forward. But for the people that have been denying it, you know what? Let's not be coy. You know, I am Jaguar. So let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bean. Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Should I keep going?
I mean, you're hitting it on.
Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. off of Justin Bieber alone.
Now, Carisha and Rick Ross just sat down together in an
Yeah,
interview.
I know. Two Diddy doo-wop bops. What a reunion. Only thing they got
Now,
Will
She had to
Diddy
hold
start
herself back.
snitching?
she threw it up. Yeah,
he better. He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is...
So I know what she's saying. Like, Diddy, again, this is all on if he make it to trial, but probably in order for him to get less time, he's going to have to take down a lot of people with him. That's the main reason why I said I don't know if it's going to make it to trial. You know, because if Diddy talks, ooh-wee, oh, unless he's like just done, unless he's like, you know, I can't do no 20 years in jail. You know, like if they say, you know, we're going to give you 30 years. If you talk, we give you 20. I don't know. I can't do no 20 years. I ain't going to say nothing.
Here's where the real tea started spilling, and it hit harder than anyone expected. The courtroom went completely still the second Jay-Z began his testimony. Not a phone buzzed, not a whisper floated through the air. You could have heard a diamond earring drop to the floor. Every head turned. All eyes locked in. It wasn't just anticipation, it was pure tension. Everyone knew something big was coming. And then, calmly, almost casually, Jay-Z started speaking. No nerves, no theatrics. Just pure control. Like he was reading off a shopping list, he began unveiling one industry-shaking secret after another. Broken promises, backroom deals, names and situations that fans have never heard and insiders hoped would stay buried. And Diddy? His face told the whole story. Calm, confident mogul suddenly looked like a man watching his empire slip through his fingers. His expression shifted from shock to disbelief to something close to panic, as if he realized in real time that the walls were closing in. And the wildest part? You could tell Jay-Z wasn't even close to done. The way he moved, the way he spoke, it felt like he had a vault full of secrets, and this was just the preview. People in the room were exchanging looks like, is this really happening? It wasn't just testimony. It was a reckoning. As Jay-Z's words echoed through the room, you could practically feel the power dynamics of the entire music world shifting. Long-standing friendships, business deals, public alliances, all of it started unraveling. It was a moment that didn't just make headlines. It made history.
Part of it, but they were around it. So it doesn't matter how they want to say it. If they come out and apologize, there's going to be more questions. If they don't say nothing, there's going to be questions. I have heard some things about the camp from Jay-Z, not from Jay-Z itself, and seen some things as well, I would say, but I want to be very careful here, that show similar puffy behavior. Okay.
You said from the camp of, not directly him, but people in his team. Got it. Just to clarify.
People, exactly. And very famous people. So again, it's just things that you wouldn't think that they will ever be capable of doing, but then they are doing it. So, but I'm not saying he did or did not. Jay-Z itself cannot say that.
But have you spoken to people since this has now broke even bigger and more? Are people feeling more confident? Have you heard from specific people that you believe have gone through the ringer on this?
Yeah, I mean, I have spoken to some people, and a lot of them are very broken, especially people that been in this industry for a very long time, that just have been silenced and been afraid of, what if I'm out of this circle? What am I going to do with my life, right? But they have actually recognized the abuse and seen, okay, that's not normal. Because a lot of people, they just felt like, well, it's just a part of this business and it's normal and it shouldn't be normalized. So I think it's good that all these things are coming out and people can actually heal and free themselves. If they come out and do a lawsuit or not, that's up to them. But sometimes it's just a healing.
Girl, just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, Jay-Z turned the heat all the way up and cracked the industry wide open. What happened next had the entire courtroom holding its breath. Jay-Z wasn't just dropping tea, he was pouring the entire pot. It was like he'd been holding the master key to hip-hop's most guarded vault, and he finally decided to twist it open. The moment he started talking, you could feel the shift in the room. Judges, lawyers, reporters, everyone leaned in, waiting for what he was about to reveal. And let's just say, he did not disappoint. Jay-Z began unpacking what insiders are calling years of allegedly shady business moves. He pulled back the curtain on secret deals, silent partners, and backdoor agreements that had protected certain power players for decades. According to his testimony, some of the contracts he'd seen weren't just unfair, they were so one-sided they made bad record deals look generous. The kind of paperwork that would trap artists for life while others cashed in behind the scenes. You could hear the tension rise with every word. The courtroom wasn't just silent, it was frozen. Jay-Z didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His calm delivery made the revelations hit even harder. It wasn't drama for show. It was a calculated, controlled takedown, and it's left people wondering just how many more secrets he's still keeping in his back pocket.
A lot of people want to hear these stories and everything like that because this is stuff that happened back in the day. And then maybe that if they knew there was going to ever be a YouTube or they knew there was going to ever be social media, a lot of the stuff probably wouldn't have got played out like it did. But things happen and these are just stories from the past. I would like to use that as, what you call that? Just to clear the facts up what's going on. But it all started, we was in Atlanta. And this story starts when I'm with Puff and he's in the exotic bookstores and he's doing shopping, right? He's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So, you know, this is the first time I was ever in an exotic bookstore with Puff. So, you know, I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the shelves and stuff like that because they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there. So I said, damn, you know, he got to go put it on the counter and, you know, show everybody what he's getting. So as he's going, I'm just looking at the places where he's picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side. And then he picked like quite a few of them down. I'm like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there and it said butt plugs. And I was like, hey, yo, I was messing with him because people don't understand, you know, we was like friends. He was a part of the same gang. So I'm still going to tease him. I'm still going to mess with him and everything like that. I could do that. It wasn't just no security thing. So I say, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said butt plugs. And he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. So when he got I just waited at the counter. So when he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like he gave the guy a stack, something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude that carried no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like he just said, boom. And we walked out the store. So we had to leave Atlanta and go to North Carolina for a show. You understand? And it was him, this rapper, Sarah, and this other girl. We all got on a G5 jet, and we flew to G4 jet, and we flew to North Carolina. So later on that, I think that afternoon, same day, this rapper and him, they all in the room together. You know, it's Sarah, the girl, Puff, and this dude, this rapper. So I'm hearing at the door and stuff like that, like, yeah. So then next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door and the dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin. I said, who your cousin? And he said, Ja Rule. I said, well, he busy right now. He said, he busy doing what? I said, he with Puff. They're in the room. They busy. They don't want to be bothered. He said, well, I'm going in there. I said, bruh, you ain't going in there because he told me they don't want nobody to be bothering them. And he was like, yo, I don't care, man. I'm going in there. That bull like that. I said, yo, bruh, Jesus Christ had to come down here and take the air out of my body before you get in that room right there. Watch. He tried to bum rush me. I grabbed his and threw him against the piano. When I threw him into the piano, Puff and Ja Rule runs out the room. Puff got his towel, Ja grabbing his towel, but they butt the naked. And so then Ja was like, yo, what's going on? Yo, Gene, that's my cousin. He know me well, and Puff was like, yo, Gene, what happened? I said, he tried to get in the room. I told him he couldn't get in the room. And he was like, Puff looked at Ja. He said, yo, Ja said, you ain't want to go in that room because there's a lot of freaking going on. So I was like, oh, he said it was a lot of freaking going on. So that was basically that story, man. You know what I'm saying? They went back in the room. Dude felt a certain kind of way and he left out. So I seen them at the concert the next day and they tried to, form up against me. But my man Frank was like, I told my man Frank, I was like, yo, Frank, put yourself in that position. Somebody trying to get in the room and Ja told you don't let nobody get in the room. What would you do? Now, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, man. But I ain't taking no losses. He said, yo, you good. And that was it. Bro, when Ja said, you don't want to come up in there, a lot of freaky stuff is going on. You gotta...
And girl, let me tell you, the gasps in that courtroom weren't just loud, they were legendary for Get Drama. This was pure spectacle. The kind of moment that felt less like a trial and more like opening night at a Beyoncé concert. But the real headline wasn't the crowd, it was Diddy. 1 second he was sitting there cool, collected, looking untouchable. The next, his whole vibe shifted. That confidence? Gone. Replaced by a haunted look like he had just watched his own legacy collapse in real time. And why? 'Cause Jay-Z dropped a bomb. He didn't just hint, he straight up accused Diddy of using mafia-level intimidation tactics to keep other artists in line. We're talking threats, blackmail, fear, moves that allegedly kept people quiet and careers under control. The tension in the room got thick. Like you could cut it with a diamond-studded knife. Jay-Z wasn't just airing out one man's secrets. He was blowing the lid off a whole underground system that's allegedly been running the music industry behind closed doors for decades. As he spoke, you could feel the walls shaking, not just around Diddy's reputation, but around the entire empire of silence and control that's kept certain names in power. And here's the kicker. This wasn't some wild performance. Jay wasn't yelling, wasn't angry. He was calm, poised, and surgical with every word. The deeper he went, the more faces in that room started shifting. Side eyes. Nervous fidgeting. People probably wondering, am I next? Because this wasn't just Diddy on the hot seat anymore. Jay-Z had turned the whole industry into a witness stand.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it was good enough to be a television episode, it should be good enough to be reopened for charges. Because clearly there were other people that knew the truth of that story.
The fact that Keefe D is in jail for Pac's murder, do you feel like they may go even deeper to the 90s in regards to just asking?
They have to, because that's the beginning of everything that's leading up to the tragedies that are about to happen now. We have to go back to the beginning. Everybody knows at this point in time, Keefe D ain't do it. He's already made it very clear he had a profit deal, which means he's been working with the government all this time. When are people going to start asking how long Diddy and Jay-Z have been cooperating with the government as well? Everybody was cooperating with the feds but them? Doesn't make any sense. What I do know, though, is that everyone is starting to notice things that they didn't notice 15, 20 years ago. Suge isn't looking like the monster that everyone painted him out to be.
That's what they were saying.
And Diddy sure ain't no choir boy. The more we start to uncover things, we're starting to realize that whatever we've been led to believe, it's actually the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Like I told you, you guys got to talk to that girl, Love Jones, and talk about her times last summer on a Sprinter van, and where she was put in the van given a drink of DeLeon. She said it didn't feel like an alcohol high. It felt different. She felt tingled all over almost instantly. Y'all need to talk to her. Because she was partying with, I believe, Justin and Christian Combs.
The Sons.
This was last summer.
The Sons. You know, a lot of people was like, man, that's messed up. I wonder how his kids feel. And I was like, hold on now. You know, because a young one made that diss track. You know, I told y'all about the dry snitching he did. And a lot of people were saying that, you know, they were helping recruit some of them girls. So, what's that song? It's a family affair. It's crazy. Crazy, man.
Diddy came in walking like a boss, but by the end, he looked like a man watching his empire crumble in real time. Let's break it down, because what went down in that courtroom felt straight out of a Hollywood thriller. When Diddy first strutted in, you could tell he thought he had the whole room on lock. Head high, sharp designer suit, the freshest fade, and that signature $1 million smile. He looked like someone who thought he was about to win the day. But honey, what happened next? Phew. Jay-Z didn't just show up, he showed out. And the moment he started talking, it was like pulling the rug out from under Diddy's entire image. With every word that came out of Jay's mouth, Diddy's face went on a full emotional roller coaster. Shock, confusion, anger, disbelief, panic. You could see it happen in real time. First, his eyes widened like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. Then his jaw clenched. His fists curled tight on the table like he was trying to hold himself back. At one point, it looked like he wanted to leap across that courtroom just to shut Jay down. And the worst part? He couldn't. Because Jay-Z had the floor, the facts, and the kind of composure that said, "I'm not here to play." It was like watching a slow-motion crash, except the wreckage wasn't metal and glass. It was legacy, reputation, and decades of power unraveling in front of everyone. Now, the question on everyone's lips. Is this the final fall of Sean Diddy Combs, or does he still have one last trick hidden up his silk-lined sleeve?
Because I think that will give a lot of victims the courage to say and speak and come forward. But until they're good for it, I'm going to keep doing it. The Jay-Z victims are going to be worse.
Oh.
They're worse. Because of the psychological torture that comes along with what he does. Like I said,
do you think Jay-Z is scared right now?
Oh, he's terrified. He's terrified. He's losing confidence everywhere. But the only confidence he's worried about keeping secure are those white boys that he worked for. That's his only loyalty.
I said it.
Not even to his wife is he loyal.
But what do you think? And just again, hypothetically, if his kids, as young as they are, asked, "Daddy, who's that man on TV getting arrested? Isn't that your friend?" What would his response be?
He wouldn't respond. He would just laugh and walk away. That's Sean Carter.
Them kids ain't watching no TV.
He doesn't own up to anything. Ever. Gaslight you right in your face. Do it smooth. He's a sociopath. He doesn't have any real feelings or emotions. Everything is transactional.
Even his marriage.
You know? I think the only time he's really comfortable and happy in his own skin is when he's laying in the warm embrace of a man.
Jack, come on. Jack.
What?
Come on, man. You can't paint those kind of pictures into people's heads, man.
Why it got painted in the mind with the videotape that I saw of him looking very happy in the embrace of a man. I didn't want to believe it.
Damn, okay. Well, Jack,
I couldn't believe it. Then it all made sense, you know?
Jack, what was the last conversation that you and JC had? How did that go?
He told me he was going to end my career and make sure no one in the world ever knew I existed, and I told him it was a pretty...
Girl, it was one of those moments where the world just stops. Like a slow-motion train wreck you know you shouldn't be watching, but you can't look away. Courtroom was frozen. Every seat filled, every eye locked in, every breath held. Even the security guards looked stunned. And right there in the middle of it all, Diddy, once the symbol of power, fame, and untouchable success, looking like he was unraveling by the second. Eyewitnesses say his eyes actually welled up. Real tears. From the same man who built a billion-dollar brand on being unshakable. The same mogul who used to command rooms with just a glance, now sitting silent, pale, and visibly shaken. And that's when the whispers started. First quiet, then louder. Is this it? Is this really the end of Diddy's reign? Jay-Z stood there holding the metaphorical wrecking ball, and he wasn't swinging wild. He was calculated. Every word he said landed like a blow to the foundation of Diddy's legacy. People weren't just shocked, they were buzzing. Like, if Jay-Z knows this much, what else could he be sitting on? Rumors flew faster than a DJ flipping tracks. Secret offshore accounts. Quiet hush money payments. Alleged illegal deals buried under layers of shell companies. The kind of things that don't just ruin careers, they erase them, and behind the scenes, pure chaos. Diddy's lawyer was scribbling notes like they were writing a legal thriller under a ticking clock. His PR team was glued to their phones, some texting, some calling, all scrambling like their entire careers were on the line. Felt like someone had kicked over the anthill, and every ant was running in a different direction trying to control the damage. But how do you spin this? How do you silence this kind of storm? One thing was clear. The empire that took decades to build was cracking, loudly, publicly, and with the entire world watching. Clip 8.
Will Diddy talk? Will Diddy live to talk? If he lives to talk, who names will he mention? Those are the two stories right now. Is will he be able to talk? And who will he bring down? Because I can imagine there's a lot of people that's saying we need to find a way to take him out. I can imagine it's a gang of people who are saying that to try to protect their character, their just everything. Hey, again, appreciate you guys coming over and watching, man. Shout out to the Real Life Production. Shout out to Jaguar Wright. These videos are going to keep coming out. All right. They're going to keep coming out because there's going to be more news coming out. All right. Peace out.
Enough is enough. You can't tell Wolf Mama enough is enough. You tell D. Ferg Mama enough is enough. You understand? You tell all those people who supported you and they survivors, enough is enough.
You didn't tell me about that. So he tried to get somebody to reach out to you?
Now I got a phone call from Kirk Burrows. And Kirk Burrows, and I ain't gonna even get this guy no play. Not Kirk Burrows, but one of the puff dudes that I know that's real close to him said, Kirk told me, yo, he want to reach out to you, Gene. He want to speak to you. I said, speak to me for what? What do you want to speak to me for? If he's trying to speak to me, it's for Puff. Point blank. I know the dude. I know how close he is to Puff. He's been with Puff from day one. So he ain't got nothing to say to me, bro. But Kirk Bro did say to me that the dude said enough is enough. When do it becomes enough? Yo, because bro, listen, I didn't ask to be put in this situation. You understand? And a lot of people ain't going to understand this because a lot of people wouldn't give up what I've given up to be in this situation. You understand? My whole thing about it is